Hi, this is Bo Birchfield, and this is Mechanics Assistant Gold Release walkthrough video. We got a lot of functionality to go through here. We're going to go through all the functionality of each individual app, and we'll get started with the login screens for each. Now, first things first, what we have here, we have a physical iPad Air with the Mechanics Assistant employee application on it. We have an iPad Pro 10.5 inch with the lobby application, and we have an iPhone 7 with the customer application. So we're going to start with error handling. Firstly, on the employee application, as you can see, there's nothing entered. So we're going to press the login button. And you see this little shake of the text fields and a error message under each telling you what specifically you need to do. So firstly, you need just something in each of these error fields, or text fields, sorry. And let's see if that handles any of the error handling. So business ID and location number no longer have any issues associated. However, the email and password fields show that on the email field, the email address is not valid. It'll only take a valid email. And on the password field, you must have at least 7 characters. So I'll actually enter my valid email. And on the password field, I will enter a 7-digit or a 7-character input. However, it's not the correct password, so let's see what happens. So you see you have a login error here, that the password's invalid, or that the user doesn't have a password. So that means that we're going to have to enter the correct password associated with this email address. And there we are. Let's try this again with the single character business ID and location number. As you can see, it says there's no such business location combo. So we're going to have to enter the correct business ID. Now, this will actually work here. So a location number can be changed at any time. You can add a new location to your business just by entering one in. So if you go to location number 3 and one has not yet been created, you can then enter vehicle information for it and it'll work. So we'll go ahead and enter a valid location number. And before we sign in there, we'll move on to the lobby screen. In the same way, we're going to go ahead and try to get in without entering anything. And you can see the error messages in the shake. Now we're going to enter, as we did before, single characters. And you can see we get the same error message as we had over here. There's no business information associated. So basically all the functionality is going to work just like it does over here. We'll go ahead and enter an actual business, and we'll leave the location number as a W. And as you can see, as I was saying before, it does bring us into a business screen. However, there are no vehicles populating that screen. So we'll enter a valid location number and hit sign in. As you can see here, it loads up that business's data with the branding included. As far as the customer side goes, you can try to enter an empty string and you get an invalid phone number warning. Now, this will take nothing but a 10-digit number. As a matter of fact, if we try to format ourselves, that's all right, because it will take that. But what it won't take is an additional number as I just input it. So you'll see what happens. Now, it kicked us for the additional number, but it removed the formatting on its own. So we'll go ahead and enter it just like this, with maybe a few additional non-numerical characters. And you can see it removes those before moving on. So we'll go back to the employee application over here. And rather than log in, we'll go ahead and handle some newer items. For example, this is the Add Your Business screen now. It also includes the owner email and owner password. So you have to give it that data before attempting to create a new business. And we'll go ahead and try to hit submit. And of course it tells us that we don't have a valid email and we don't have a password. So we'll go ahead and enter the valid email. And this is a valid email, but it already owns a business on this particular, or on this application. So we'll enter a false password though, and we'll try to hit submit there. Now it shows us that there's a duplicate owner, that an owner may only have one business with which it's associated. Now it says to create a second business account to use an alternate email. So what this is doing is it's only allowing an owner to own one business in the application. For example, this business in particular, or any other business, can have multiple locations, but there's only one business per owner account. So on the off chance that you are a person who owns multiple mechanic shops with different names, logos, and designs, you'll have to have an alternate email account to register both of those businesses onto the application. Now, as it didn't really see our false password, it handled that first. So what we'll do is we'll try to enter in a email that doesn't have an owner account associated. And let's see what happens here. Alright, so it tells us that the password's invalid. So we definitely have to have the correct password before doing anything. Alright, so it checks the owner information, and then it lets us know that we don't have a logo added, also that we haven't added a business name, that the business email we've added doesn't exist, but also that it's not valid, and that we have to add a custom business ID. So as we select our color, you can see that it changes in real time. We'll go ahead and add a business name, and that name will be My Garage. A business email, we'll just do something silly here. The business ID, and we'll do, let's see, My Garage. Now we'll try to submit again, and everything looks good except we haven't added a business logo still. So we'll press that, give it permission for our photos, and we'll actually use the same logo that we've used before in the past for a different business, just for this test. We'll press submit now. And as you can see, it's sending an email that lets you know what your business ID is. This is so you can keep it in your documents, so you won't forget it. Now, if you've chosen to cancel that email, you still get a notification here. So you confirm your business ID that you've seen it, and you move on. So the other big change this week, or at least one of them, is the edit business info. So as you can see, you have to enter your owner email and owner password again. You have to log in successfully here to be able to change any owner or any business email or business information altogether. So we'll enter that same information that we entered before to create this account. And we'll go ahead and try to log in. There we are. Now, as you can see, the information's here just as it was on the Add Business screen. I see that I still have Add Your Business there. That'll be fixed immediately. Now, we can change the business information here. We can even change the business name. We can change the email. So the owner email's changed, which allows a different email address to be used. Now, that has to be valid just like it did when creating the business. The custom business ID can be changed, and you can even change your business color. So we'll do red, and we'll upload a new photo, which can be a little note that my daughter wrote to my wife. Now you see the same email. We'll go ahead and send it, and you get the same alert, and then it pops you out. So that's been added. Now we'll go ahead and log in with the employee application. Alright, so here we have the vehicle list. We'll go ahead and move straight on to the new vehicle view. So we have our find customer information here. I'll go ahead and enter myself just to make things a little quicker. And we'll search. As you can see, all my information comes up. As a change, everything is now perfectly editable, so if you needed to change anything on this, you could. We'll enter in a make, a model, a year, a color. We will go ahead and skip the street address and all the previously entered information. Editing my profile is not necessarily what I want to do here. We'll enter in a fake VIN number. And we'll create some services here. How about an oil change and a fuel filter change? And we'll enter the mileage. So we'll add the vehicle. It gives us that message. And the vehicle's added correctly. Now, of course, as we've shown in previous videos, you can attempt to enter all this, and it'll give you all that error validation. Also, if you were to try to enter a false email address, it would tell you that it's not a valid email. Of course, after everything else has been checked off. If you enter a state name with more than 2 characters, you're given an error. If you have more than 5 services requested, you're given an error. If your mileage is 7 figures or more, you're given an error. So all error handling is taken care of on this particular screen. Now, we'll go over to this newly entered vehicle and check a few things off just for fun. And as you can see, we have our 2 main services down here. So one of the additions this week per request is the Edit Main Services button. As you can see here, all of the main service information is entered into this particular alert, and that can be changed. So we can add ejector seat, and we'll hit Change Services. Now that popped us out of that view controller in order to update that information. So we can just move right back into it. And as you can see, we have that new item listed. Now, this even has some error handling of its own. If we tried to remove everything and hit Change Services, it would tell us that there are no services entered. If instead we tried to add more than 5 items, and hit Change Services, it lets us know that we can't have any more than 5 and no less than 1 service. So we'll remove that Add Ejector Seat and just make sure that that works as well. And as you can see, add ejector seat has been moved. As far as additional functionality, we of course have our vehicle completion screen. So we'll go ahead and complete all the items on here. And we'll press the complete button. We can add any notes that we want and hit complete. And as you can see, we have the email screen and all the information associated with the user. And also down here, we have the XML doc and the JSON doc that were created within code to be sent to the front desk and integrated into their bookkeeping system. So we'll go ahead and send that email. And per request, we have a much simplified version for the customer. So as you can see, this one's sent to a different email address, which is associated with the customer's vehicle. And it just gives you a note that the vehicle's been completed and any additional notes on the vehicle. For example, if you need new wipers or whatever the case may be, this will be added into this field here. So we'll go ahead and send that email as well. And when both of them are completed, navigation pops back and the vehicle is removed. So that's all the new functionality. There have been a few bug fixes, a few things that have made the code a little bit better. Over here on the lobby application, you can enter and you can view the details of your particular vehicle. And the same can be said for here. As you can see. Now, the only other real thing to show is how the applications work with each other. So for example, right now we are in a few different shops here. So we'll get into the same shops. For example, I'll get into location number 2 of Ray's Auto Repair. And we'll sign in there. And as you can see, we have two of the same vehicles here. Now, these two applications work the same in terms of handling when any updates have been made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the vehicle list screen here. I'm going to show you the details screen here while we complete and remove a vehicle. So we'll change our location number here to correspond with the location entered into the other two. And we'll set up our email and our password. And we'll log in. All right, so we have both vehicles entered here. And we're going to go ahead and complete a vehicle here. So as we complete the items, you can see the other applications update to that. And over here, as well as on this one, you can watch as individual items are updated. We'll go ahead and switch it around so we can see that functionality in both of these applications. So the same, of course, works for removing items. So we'll go ahead and complete the vehicle. And when that's completed, you'll see the functionality between the two applications. So we get our email, and we'll send that off. And then we get our customer email, We'll send that off as well. And as soon as we do that, we'll be popped out of this view, and also this view will reload and perhaps pop. So there we are. So that's the gold release. This project was extremely challenging. I really enjoyed having to create something as complex as this. It was quite a fun challenge. Really, the feedback that you provided and the additions to the application that you requested really made for a much better experience in this class. And I think it most certainly made for a much better application. That's my gold release video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.